Let's go live. Kyle's do something, and then I think actually, but he's off doing something else anyway. Hello.
Hi everybody.
Might be getting a bit slow. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
My internet seems to be going a bit slow. All right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was. Yeah, I've got back all to show. But welcome to Geeky Weekly. We're joined by the Invisible Man this week. Is our guest. What's his name? Griffin? Something Griffin? The Invisible Man.
He's the guy who sort of creeps around and calls me a bastard every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so
right.
He's an abusive Invisible Man.
He's a foul mouth. He's not a quiet American, that's for sure.
I can show the comics I'm going to try and sell tomorrow, if you like.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Put you on full screen. Hold on, let me drag you over. But that Vault, you're selling it on Vault, like he's like the. Is it just Vault? Is it Europe-wide, or is it just UK?
It's Europe. But mainly all the people who are watching the show are in the UK. Yeah, all my post is to the UK. So yeah. So for those of you who are watching who don't know, you don't have to buy anything. As long as you've entered your credit card details with VOT, you can enter the free giveaways because most people run free giveaways.
Okay.
So, and if you just register your credit, you can enter for those, and they don't cost you anything. You don't even have to pay postage. So, if you win one of the free giveaways, you get sent free comic. Don't even have to pay postage. So you can just sort of hang around VOT and wait for the free giveaways to come up and get free comics.
Right. Wait, is that just on your own choice?
No, but other people do giveaways. Yeah, most of the people do a giveaway or giveaways during their shows. I mean, one of the comic guys before Christmas, he ran a show with 100% giveaways. So he gave away about 20 comics.
Okay. What, and he paid the postage as well?
Yeah, he paid the postage as well. Yeah. So if you've been watching that, you could have entered 20 raffles for comics and not paid anything.
Interesting.
Hey guys, sorry.
Hi, Mr. Lurgy.
Hey, is Bill popped up?
Bill?
Comic Musings?
No one's popped up.
Bill Field?
Nope.
No. Is he meant to be coming in today?
Yeah. I thought I told you guys.
Is he coming in today?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also tell us people were pulled out, so we don't know what's going on. Yeah, no,
Scott pulled out. Scott pulled out. Bill was just.
Yeah.
I don't have any notifications on, so I wouldn't know if he's trying to get in touch with me or having glitches.
Right.
Just almost pop off for a minute. Huh?
Did you give him the link?
I got him the link and everything. I'm just wondering if he's having some glitch. Shut off all my notifications. So I want to let him know what time it is. I'm gonna hop off, touch base with him. I'll hop back in a minute. I'm a hot mess right now, as you can probably tell. So
you don't sound too good, Kyle.
Yeah. I'm in a rough way right now, but I'll get over it. But let me go check on Bill because I wanted Mark to be able to ask Bill some questions about the book he wrote with Neil Adams and stuff, and some things like that. Bill's a comic book historian too, though not like me. I'm a historian and is in the way old stuff. Bill's a recent historian, so. But let me get in touch with him, and I'll hop back on here in a minute.
Okay.
See you guys in a minute.
Okay, mate.
Good call.
Let's see what you're saying on Vault.
Yeah, so it's like a UK whatnot channel. So if you're a collector, you can use the platform to set up, run a live stream, and sell your stuff. And they take about 8% which is, I don't think it's too bad.
Okay.
It's a lot less than eBay. The technology works.
eBay percentage
20-odd%, isn't it?
eBay charges a percentage of your postage as well.
Do they? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever you charge for postage, they take a percentage of that as well. It's ridiculous. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, these guys take 8%, which I think is quite reasonable. The platform works reasonably well, and it's growing. So it only started in the UK, I think, sort of about September, October last year. So it's still fairly young. And I think I was about the 5th or 6th comic seller on there. So
does the money go straight to your account, or do you have to like?
So what happens is you sell your stuff. It tells you all the orders you get. It's quite good, and you can print off a list with all the addresses of the people who've ordered stuff, and it tells you which ones which auctions they won. So you then package them off. I send them off. I go up to the post office, send them off with Royal Mail, and I then put a tracking number in, and then they pay when the parcel is recorded as delivered. But what they did over Christmas, which was quite nice, they said, because of the postal strikes, we're going to pay you for your shows early. So they sort of they paid up after about 5 or 6 days.
Okay.
Not too bad. I mean, it's fair enough. So that's how it works. I've had varying success. My best show I shifted about 250 quid. And the worst show I shifted about 50.
It's good. 50 ain't bad even. Depends on how many hours was it? Depends on how many hours you did it for, I suppose.
Oh, I never do it for more than about 40 minutes usually.
All right, so that's not bad earnings for 40 minutes.
No, it's all right, and it probably takes an hour's prep as well.
Bill will be popping in a minute. He's just running a little. Oh, sorry. So Bill will be.
When's the next one tomorrow? You say?
Yeah, doing one tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. So you're going to show us what you're going to give us a taste.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for Bill. Yeah, so I do a whole mixture of stuff. So I've got some stuff I start at £1, and my view is I set it a start price that I'm happy to sell it for. So I've got some. I've got some.
Yeah, you get 2 people who both want it. You might be lucky.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody goes to, so if it goes for £1, I'm happy. So I've got some real cheap start stuff. These are starting at £1.
Wolverine Origins.
Hey James, how are you, buddy?
This one's starting at £2. Some real low start stuff. I'm trying this one actually. This will be interesting to see whether this goes or not. This is from 1995. It's an Overstreet magazine called Fan number 7 or 8, I think 7, and it's got a Vampirella cover. This sells in the States for about $15 to $20, and if it's still in its plastic bag, it sells for about $80. So I'm selling that, and it's quite interesting because you've got all the prices of what comics were selling for in 1995. And there's some quite good stuff in here. There's a little Lady Rawhide mini comic inside it. So I'm putting that up £6. It'll be interesting to see whether that goes or not. It's actually quite a good deal. In the States, this is selling for 15 to 20 quid. Got a couple of about £5, so that's a war. That was the alpha version of War of the Bounty Hunters. So that's £5. This probably will sell because Scotty Youngs really go quite well, on the internet, and this is quite a rare one because it has a special San Diego Comic-Con. So I've got that at £6. I hope that will get bidded up because that's probably worth about 12 to 15 quid. I've got some early Star Wars number 2, Marvel Star Wars number 2, but it is this is the reprint. You can tell it's the reprint because it has a diamond here instead of a square. So you have to be quite careful with these early Star Wars because some of them are reprinted. They were reprinted in the same year. So this is still 1977, but it was just like a second print. So it doesn't go for as much as the first print.
All right.
So I'm doing that for £6, which is, again, pretty good deal.
Sometimes those aren't second prints, buddy.
What are they?
Some of them Star Wars are first prints in the Whitman Diamond. If it doesn't say reprint up there, and if it doesn't say reprint in the indicia, it's the first print.
Oh, okay. I'll have a look at that then.
So
I'll have a look at that.
That was first printings. What issue numbers are those? Are they below 10?
Yeah, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah, there's a good chance those are first prints.
Okay, I'll have a look
if
at that.
If it doesn't say reprint on the cover, there's a good first.
This is a first print because it's got the square logo, but this is a UK price variant. So I'm doing these about 7 or 8 quid each. They should sell because that's a pretty good deal if there's any Star Wars people in. These are all duplicates, so I'm only selling duplicates. Number 5 again. That's
That's a big misconception with those weapons. So,
okay, I didn't know that, Carl. I'll check that.
Yeah, that's a big misconception. I've been trying to straighten out for years with people is they just instantly assume a Whitman is.
Sorry? Sorry, Gray.
How many do you normally get watching your streams?
Between the most I've had is about 25, and usually it's about and the lowest is sort of like 8 to 10.
Not bad.
Yeah. So I've got these Star Wars that should bring a few people in. Also, I'm offering up some of the ones Kyle.
Hey guys.
Hey man, you are not putting some of them tails out there, are you? Come on now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
Okay, I'm allowed.
Don't put them tails out there.
You don't want me to put the tails out there. Okay.
I don't want you to put the tails out there. I don't know if we'll be able to trade them.
I hadn't realized that this one was the first one in which Submariner says Imperious Rex.
Nice.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, it's also the first appearance of a character called the Behemoth. That's in the Submariner part of this. He's a monster created to protect Atlantis. So this is quite nice, and it's also the first revelation that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. So this is quite a key issue. This.
When you say revelation, Behemoth is also one of 2 monsters in the Bible.
Yeah.
So, haha.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and, well, interestingly, in issue 60, I got a bit confused by that because in issue 67. It says where strides the Behemoth, and actually it's referring to the Hulk,
right?
When here, and of course they get the name from the Bible. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know who the other monster in the Bible who appears?
Leviathan.
It's right here. Just me.
You're Leviathan? I never knew.
Monster that appears in the Bible. Yea, though you walk through the valley of death, I'm going to blow smoke up your ass.
And you do often.
Yeah. And the other big attraction, my best-selling item on VOT is always my SpongeBob's. Okay.
What?
Yep.
No, what?
Yep. So I've got.
I can't just selling them because you've got extras.
Yeah, my SpongeBob's generally get bid up, and I start them at 10 quid, and they generally end up nearer 20 than 10. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You finished your run now. Did you get your final one?
Yeah, I've got it's complete. Yeah, and so I'm only selling my duplicates. So this one, for instance, 72. The print run on this was about 5,000. which is really, really low.
Extremely low.
There's currently 0 of these available on eBay, either in the US or the UK. This one, 76. There is one available in the US at about $17, and it's cost you $14 shipping. So they are.
Have you talked to Hillary?
Have I talked to who?
Have you talked to Hillary about shipping a couple of those over to get him to sign for you?
Yeah, I will do that actually. Yeah. Now I've got my full set. I'll pick out that. I think it's the one I showed when he was on the noir one with the circle dog that he was involved in. I might send him that to sign. That would be nice, actually.
Yeah, you send him like the return shipping, whatever he figures out, and we'll gladly.
Have you got his address?
Yeah, I got it. I'll put you in line with him, and I'll let you actually talk to him about it, and that way he'll just freely go, okay, well, send it here, or he'll tell you to send it to me, or whatever. But if you want those signed, I mean, there's no doubt he can probably get half the creative teams to sign those.
Okay, I'll have a chat with him. I might send him a couple out.
Yeah.
No, Las Vegas, my favorite city. I quite like gambling. I actually go and stay at the MGM Grand free. They comp me when I go out there. So,
you're a whale?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I look like a whale, but I've been comped for the last 4 or 5 times I've been to Vegas.
You're a whale, dude. You're a whale.
I'm a whale. So I get a free room, and they send a limo to pick me up at the airport, which is quite nice.
Hey, you want to know a neat little piece of trivia about the MGM Grand?
Yeah, go ahead.
You remember when the 1978 fire? Where it burned up and like 100 people died?
I didn't know about that.
I remember that.
Yeah. Like 112 people died in a major fire there. And my Aunt Karen Andrews was one of them. She had just divorced my Uncle Donnie.
Oh, man.
And started dating a pit boss there. And they were asleep in their room and burned up. And because of that, it made her kids millionaires. My cousins all got like $10 million.
Wow.
Ahead for that from that
Really?
fire.
Wow.
But yeah, one of the fatalities in that was Karen Andrews.
Wow.
That's not the way you want to make $1 million in Vegas, is it?
No.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like 10, 12 years old when that happened. It was kind of a shock because, like, my Uncle Donnie is a bit of a putz, but one minute he's happy and the next minute he had a trophy wife and we all knew it, but they had kids and stuff like that. But he was a banker and a bit of a putz. And she'd had enough of him and she took off, and they'd done a Vegas trip and she started a fling with a pit boss. And before she could actually marry the guy and take his name, that accident happened. So
wow.
So, and that like in 1979, 78, 79, it was 70 something. So I was only like 12 years old.
They must have knocked the thing down and rebuilt the current one.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, look up the MGM Grand Hotel fire. Like it's 78 or 79.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't.
But yeah, I found out real quick that they just throw money around when that happened. Like it was like $8 million ahead for all three kids.
Wow. Hey, I have a question. Has anybody got this yet?
You got to hold it a lot closer.
How's that?
Charlton.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate story of the entire company's history.
Wow.
That just came out. I got it for Christmas.
Nice.
From my wonderful wife.
Boy, Roger'd go nuts for that thing.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's all color.
Wow.
I mean, look at this.
And it's not newsprint pages that are all brown. Come on now, then that's not real.
No. Nor is it misprinted.
What's the significance of the Derby sign? Is that where they were formed? Is that where they were from?
Yeah, Derby, Wisconsin.
Derby,
Okay.
but they call it Derby over there. But yeah, it's Derby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where Charlton is from.
We call it after the original one.
Yeah, Darby, kind of like Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
Darby. Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Tell me you got a copy of your book you can show off, Bill.
I'm going to get one in a minute.
All right.
I know basically where one is.
All right, good. Because I love pimping my friend Bill. So
I wonder if I don't know if that Charlton's available in the UK yet. I need to check it up.
yeah,
They did. I think Charlton's were printed for the UK, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, they were. I just don't know whether that book's here yet.
Yeah. Oh,
I hardly ever saw any.
Oh, really?
I don't remember ever seeing any Charlton's.
Wow.
No,
keep that handy because
the first time was.
Oh,
First time was when?
Before that, but maybe they were, but I don't remember ever seeing them.
Well, they weren't available everywhere in the U.S. either. So, I mean, they were kind of a rarity in some areas. But I grew up an Air Force brat, and they were at every Air Force base. So, I think that was how they got more equally divided, was by going to the Air Force bases. Because when I lived in Hawaii, I couldn't find them anywhere but the Air Force base. So.
Yeah, I think that's how they got into the UK. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Because we got because I quite often I do find Charltons in back bins and things, and I think they came through the American air bases. I don't think they were particularly.
Go up near Rendlesham. Go up near Rendlesham. There'll be a lot of comics up there.
Yeah, Mildenhall as well.
Yeah.
High Wycombe had a base as well, so yeah.
And keep that companion close, because when Roger pops in, he needs to see that. Because
Roger who?
Our buddy Metarog, Roger, he's a huge Charlton guy.
Oh, sure, I'll have it here.
Huge Charlton guy.
No, that's great.
I'd imagine he'd pop in a chat.
What is that book called? What was it called? The History of
Charlton? It is the Charlton Companion, I believe.
Charlton Companion. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, that's like a must-own, is what that is.
And it's by John B. Cook, who has written quite a few books on comics and animation.
What's the author's name?
John B. Cook. Cooke.
Are those characters on the front actually from Charlton Comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Joe Stanton's E-Man right there.
Yeah. And Mike Mauser. Who was a side character who I guess he got his own comic, didn't he, at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Mauser, PI detective.
So I have something to show.
I didn't know what's from the DC. Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, Sergeant Steel, is it?
And the Question.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Question,
Steve Ditko's The Question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which became Mr. A, basically. But
Rorschach.
Yeah. Well, yeah, most notably. So my cousin gave me a bunch of comics over Thanksgiving. Yeah, when they brought back Challengers.
Yeah.
In the mid-70s. Great team up.
I'll put you on the full screen. Give me a minute. Are you there? DC Stips presents Dead Man and Phantom Stranger.
Great book.
Metal Men made a brief comeback also.
No, they relaunched them. They relaunched them in 78.
And Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
But I didn't get any of those, but I got A Witching Hour.
Nice.
And issue 100 of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of, and then I got some weird ones. Not weird, but not superhero.
Daisy.
And a nice What If.
Yeah. Oh, a nice early one.
And
somebody else.
Dennis the Menace and Joey.
Joey.
Who the hell's Joey?
His best friend.
His best friend and neighbor.
So
I found that. I've ordered that Charlton comic.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, found it. 30 quid. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, order one for me. People, I couldn't believe people gave me shit about me joking about you okay for help find those books because I was just busting your balls, and people are like, "You can't ask for an AOK." I was like, "I'm not asking for a fucking AOK. I'm busting his balls." Mark got the earliest comic book ever. My book the other day. Mark got an 1841. So
who did?
Number Mark down here. Enlarge Mark. You got those still by you, Mark?
No, I put them away.
Oh, I must say it at least once.
I didn't want you calling me a bastard every 5 minutes, Kyle. So I had to
at
put
least
them away.
once today. I'm going to say it. You bastard! Oh my god. We were talking about the history of comics, and I was like, if you're going to go with the first true comic book, it's Punch Comics #1 from 1841. To me, that's the beginning of it. It even predates Obadiah Oldbuck. And Mark found them. So I've been on a you bastard kick. So
wow.
Those are my big grails.
That's a pretty fantastic find.
Yeah, it's really good. It's the 1841. So I don't even know if it was a weekly magazine, 8-page newspaper thing. And every 6 months they used to bind them up into a sort of leather-bound volume. So I've got the first volume, which was the first 6 months or 26 issues of
wow.
And the second volume in the original binding, you bastard. Oh, I got a second one in there.
No, I think that was the third.
Yeah, that was the third.
That was the third.
Yeah.
We're keeping count.
Yeah.
The count has to be quite high to beat yesterday's.
Oh my god. They told me not to be so sweet all the time. I was always blowing sweet smoke at them, so I have to give them guff now and again. I mean, my grail list literally was one of those bound by the 1840s. Just to crack the 1840s, I'd have been happy because my oldest one was 1854, and I'm sitting on a messenger video call with Mark, and he finds one of the 1840s right there while we're sitting there, and then he finds two more.
You need skills. Mark's eBay. Anything to do with auctions, Mark's the guy. eBay auctions, normal auctions. He just hones in on the bargains.
Mark, the house king. Now, I was talking last night too. If you don't find yourself a bound volume of St. Nicholas with the first brownies in it, I'm guessing you're going to have to come see me for that one.
Yeah, well, we're about to do another trade in 23, Kyle.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll make you a world-class historian by the time I'm done.
I think he already is.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I'm just going to say that. I've only known him 20 minutes, but
yeah, well, so yeah, no, the punch stuff is pretty interesting.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Very punchy.
Very punchy. My next target is actually there was a rival publication called Judy that came out later.
Really?
Yeah.
Judy came out like 30 years later, and then they merged.
Yeah. Now, Judy, the reason Judy's interesting is it's got one of the first ever, or I think the first ever recurring comic character who is called Ali Soper. And he first appeared in Judy magazine.
Speaking of Ali Soper, you bastard, is that piece of art right there with you?
That's the one where I got the huge drawing. So what happened? So Ali Soper was a really old character. In about 1976, there was a comic historian in the UK called Dennis Gifford, I think.
He's still around, isn't he?
I know he died.
Oh,
he
sorry,
died.
Dennis.
Yeah, he died.
I knew Dennis. Like briefly.
Yeah,
he was very nice guy.
Really
knew
nice
everything
guy.
about.
He was an artist. He was a comic artist as well, but he was also into the history.
Right.
So he did a combination with Alan Class, who was a publisher of comics here in the UK, and he decided he started a comic called Ali. Well, it's called Ali Soper, and they held a launch party on a boat in London in 1976, and they invited all the sort of cartoonists, famous cartoonists or comic creators in London at the time to come to this party. And as the artists arrived, they had this big board, and they asked the cartoonists to draw their version of Ali Soper on this board. Okay. Now, I was watching an auction. I went to look at an auction. I didn't know anything about this. I went to this auction in December, and there was this item there. It was about Ali Soper, and I looked at it, and I thought it was about A3 sized. So I bid £30 for it, and I won it. And I went to collect it, and the guy said, "Oh, hang on a minute, we have to go to the back room to collect this." And he comes out with this thing that's about 6 foot by 6 foot.
What? Oh my God!
Just fitted in the back of my car. And so I've now got this thing, and it's got all these drawings on it from, Dennis Gifford, all sorts of other famous artists. One of the artists there was in his 80s when he went in 1976. He was born in about 1880, and he was one of the artists that worked on Ali Soper back in the sort of 1900s. So yeah, it's quite a historic thing, and I just couldn't, it's sat in my comic room at the moment. It looks quite.
That
good.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What a great price.
It's ridiculous,
I mean, really. And it's huge. I mean, who doesn't like a huge piece? 6 by 6 feet. That's amazing.
The wife doesn't want it in the sitting room.
No, my wife wouldn't be okay with that either. My friend last year gave me a carousel horse, and my wife almost divorced me. So, because I put it in the house because I didn't want to leave it outside. It's like over 100 years old. But it's huge. I mean, it's huge. But yeah, it almost caused a rift, let us say. So you know what I mean.
Luckily, I have a room dedicated to my comics, and it goes in there, and she's fine with that.
Yeah, we call that a man cave over here.
Man cave, yeah.
I don't get such objects, but luckily my girlfriend lives in a completely different house.
Oh, well, that helps.
That is lucky, actually. I hate to say that.
Well, that's a good arrangement, actually, Gray.
That is a good arrangement. So, I'm going to go look some more stuff to show.
For sure.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show some stuff. Okay, man. You finished going through them?
Yeah. So next up, we've got this is Scarlet Spider #1. This is the
on the big screen.
Okay.
It's going very slow. My internet's going so slow tonight. Everything's choppy, and I hardly catch what people are saying.
There's a bit of lag when you do speak. So this is Scarlet Spider #1. This is Ben Reilly, the clone version of Spider-Man. So this is actually picking up a bit of heat at the moment.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the next into the multiverse. Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. So he's picking up a bit of heat at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that up there for £5-6. I'm hoping that'll get bid up as well, because that's actually quite a hot comic. Right. Next up, I've got quite a few Batmans. These are all duplicates. These are virtually everything I'm selling here is a duplicate. This is a nice Batman 118 because this is a homage. The famous Todd McFarlane Spider-Man cover with sort of Spider-Man. Yeah. This is the same kind of Batman. Yeah, this is Batman doing the same pose, and it says down here after Todd McFarlane. Yeah. So yeah, and again, $5. So next up, Batman 50. This is the wedding one where he was meant to get married to Catwoman. Just one of the variant covers. Yeah. This was a series from last 2021, I think. Joker puzzle box. Some reason I've got 2 issues. One of the problems with these, the reason I get duplicates on these things is I pre-order comics a couple of months in advance. Then I forget that I pre-ordered them. And then I order them again, and I end up with 2 issues.
So something to sell, I suppose.
Yeah, well, exactly. This has been a good series. This Joker series.
Yes.
This is Tynion.
Yeah.
James Tynion, one of the better writers around at the moment. So this has been a pretty good series.
Great cover.
Yeah, it's a nice looking cover, isn't it? It's although it says the Joker on it, it's mainly been about this guy. What's his name? Gordon. I am Batman #1. I'm just saying these are comics I'm selling tomorrow. We've got a Whatnot type channel in the UK, and I'm selling on there at the moment. So these are all just stuff that I've got duplicates of that I'm going to put up for sale. This is quite nice. This is the Joker's 80th anniversary. This is a variant cover.
Jack Nicholson.
Virgin variant.
Yeah, it is a bit Jack Nicholson, isn't it? That's why I quite like it.
Beautiful.
This is just a clone comic. It's a cheapie. Do that for a couple of quid.
Love that.
An early Venom. So this is Venom, The Madness, part 1 of 3. So this is from the 90s. So this is quite an early Venom, but
before he got a regular series.
Yeah, before he got a regular series.
Yeah,
this is only a £5. This isn't really expensive. And whereas this one, this is last year. This is the new Venom series with Ram V and Al Ewing writing it. And that's the same price, and I'll probably get just as much for that as I will for the Venom from the 90s.
Possibly more.
Possibly more. You're right.
I mean, honestly, they're much more in demand.
Yeah.
That's
what I found on this VOT thing is that modern variants are the best sellers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's probably going to save comics, the variants, or push it off a few years.
Yeah, so my bet, if I put a variant up there, I know it's going to sell, and I know it's going to sell at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
If I put something up there, I'm going to put I think I've got a couple of. Don't tell Kyle because he wants me to send them to him for nothing. But the Tales to Astonish that I was showing, I'm only asking sort of 8 to 10 quid for them, and I don't even know if they'll get that. And of course, in my view, they're worth a heck of a lot more.
Are they American or UK?
They're actually US ones. These ones. So I've got this one. This, as I was saying, that's the Behemoth, and this one's really nice. This is
it's beautiful.
What?
I tell you, I buy more foreign comics these days than American.
You buy more?
Go ahead.
You buy more what? Sorry,
foreign.
Oh, do
comics.
You? Okay.
Like I'm buying a lot more British and a lot more like Dutch and Netherlands and yeah, I love them and the printing for the most part's not bad. I mean, it's not like American printing on Baxter paper, but it's actually nice to see it in black and white sometimes.
Oh well, yeah. So I'm a big Alan Class collector. He's the British guy who did, and so that's a British.
Oh, I want that. So are you going to sell that?
I'm just about to send it off to CGC for grading.
Oh crap! I would love to buy that, and I want to buy the early Marvels if I can.
This is probably the second most expensive Alan Class comic.
It's beautiful.
It's a fantastic cover.
It's beautiful. I love that. Well, it's Fantastic Four #5.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
And I think, and I've discussed this with a number of people, we think this is better than the US version because one of the
way better.
Yeah, the colors are stronger.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's wider. So Alan Class goes wider. Now the artists at the time were still drawing on Golden Age boards. So when Alan got the sort of the artwork to do the covers, he got the original artwork which goes wider than the American version. So in a way, this is more original than the American.
Oh, I think so.
And these were printed only about, so the original, of course, is 61, 62, Fantastic Four 5. This was probably about 62. So 62, 63. So it was only about a year after the original.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you the story. These two have heard this story, but it's one of my favorite stories. So Alan Class, who was this guy in the UK who got the rights to reprint a number. He got the rights to Charlton, American Comics Group, and he got the right to Marvel. And so he used to reproduce. He had about 5 or 6 titles that he ran, and he produced them monthly. And anyway, he was in about his 3rd, 4th year of operation, and he had an agent who he used in London to manage the rights with all these companies in the States. Anyway, this guy came to him and contacted him and said, Alan, we've got a new series coming out from Marvel called Fantastic Four. Are you interested?
Cringe.
Alan goes, yeah, I am. He said, we'll come round to my office and we'll talk about it. So Alan goes to this guy's office, and he's got a Fantastic Four #1 hot off the press from the US. And he says, and Alan says, can I have that so I can use it for, checking the colors and stuff? So the guy gives him a Fantastic Four #1 hot off the press. So Alan goes back to his office. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, Alan's printer comes to see him and says, Alan, next week we're printing the Fantastic Four #1, which was Creepy World 32. It's 4 issues before that. And he sees the copy of Fantastic Four #1 on Alan's desk. And he says to Alan, can I use that to get the colors right on the printing? And Alan goes, sure. And he takes the Fantastic Four #1, rips the front page off, gives it to the printer, and throws the rest in the bin. And I saw Alan being interviewed about this. He was being interviewed. He's still alive, as in he's well into his 80s, and he was being interviewed about this about 5 years ago. And he just said, "That's it. I don't want to talk any more about it." He said, "It's too upsetting. Don't tell me how much a Fantastic Four #1 is worth."
Poor guy. That's heartbreaking. Especially for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Am I right? I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know how much money Alan made in his entire career, but it probably wasn't as much as he would have made if he kept that and sold it
right
40 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my
things come to be so expensive. It's like, wow.
Gosh.
I've
never owned a Fantastic Four #1.
No.
I've owned a #6, a 7, an 8, a 9, and a 15,
nice.
and an 11. 11 had Impossible Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I've had that one, but I bought one.
He's like 60.
I bought a Fantastic Four #8 for $300 and sold it 6 months later for $800.
Wow, that's
last
good.
year when the prices started soaring.
I had a Golden Records #1, the 66 reprint.
Yeah,
and
I did too.
I almost had a 17, but it fell through in the trade to Mark, so that's got to be thrown back in there. Now the oldest one I got's a 26. But wow. I did go up and get some old stuff that I can look at Mark and go, nah, boo-boo, I have some things you don't. So
so the earliest I've got, I do now possess a #2. I believe it or not, I found it at an auction. About my closest auction house was running an auction, and they'd got these comics, and they were all in turkey boxes. So it was a turkey farmer who collected comics, and I've still got a couple. So the comics were in turkey boxes
from the infamous turkey box collection.
From the turkey box collection. Anyway, this turkey farmer had got a fantastic one.
You haven't got Bird and Matthews' personal collection, have you, Mark?
I don't know. It wasn't Bird and Matthews. But the matter is, there's a famous turkey farmer in the UK. But they'd spotted it. They did. I didn't get it cheap. They'd spotted it, separated it out, and were selling it separately. So I thought it cost me about 800 quid, which. But I got it, and I thought it was a 2.0, and I sort of cleaned it a bit and pressed it, and I sent it. I sent it off to CGC in December. And I've got the grade back, and they're telling me it's a 3.5, which is a real result.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm really pleased with that.
What year is that?
No, this is in 1892, I think. Yeah. Make me big, Dre. I want to gloat at Mark for a minute.
What is that? What is it,
Judge?
It's a Judge Dredd before I get my name.
There's America's answer to punch was Puck.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
So here's an 1892 Judge, but as far as the cool things go that I got, there's an office envelope from 1884.
Whoa.
So that's my oldest piece of Judge ephemera. I didn't bring down any of my.
When did Judge start, Kyle?
1860s, I think.
Okay, so it's not that long after Punch.
No, not that long. Punch, I think started sooner, or Puck, I think started sooner, like in 1850 something. But yeah, so now that I can for a minute, here's a couple of my loose punches.
Oh, nice, very nice.
Of the originals, but I got to be able to gloat this one. Did I? Yeah, I let go of I had an 1861 one pulled out of a bound volume.
Can I have a closer look at? Can you put it back up so I can just have a look at it?
Yeah, these are some of the 1880s ones.
Number 2243, volume 87, July the 5th, 1880. Very nice.
But there's a stack of those. I let go of the 1861 one for the Comics Curing Cancer. But my holy crap single is an 1858.
Oh, very nice.
And when did they start?
1841.
Oh wow, that's very.
I've never seen an older single issue. Never. I've never seen it. If he finds one, great. But there's a reason that this is still intact, is because it's the uncut file cut.
Wow.
Offices.
Nice.
It's the uncut file copy. So if you find a single, that's what I was saying to you. You'll never find a number one unless it's pulled from a bound volume, and even then, it's probably going to be in tatters.
Mark
but you'll
looks
be
a tad bit envious.
Yeah. If you find one older than that, good on you.
I haven't got any single issues. That's why I was just interested in seeing.
I've never, ever seen one loose older than this. Never.
Wow.
And it's not pulled from a bound volume, because a lot of the loose ones are pulled from bound volumes. Yeah. These are, but again, this came from Fleet Street. That's a file copy.
So how do you tell if it's come from a bound volume or whether it was an original?
Oh, the stitching on the side. There's stitching on the side. Okay. None of these are stitched, and I don't have one to compare it to because I gave it away.
So it's not stitched.
But there's no stitch. If there, you can tell. You can tell it's been pulled and restitched from bound volume. These are straight and clean lines, and if it's been bound, there's going to be glue. There's going to be stitching through it. There's going to be holes and things like that. So, but yeah, that's a Nana Boo. Find one older than that, and I'll be impressed because I've never seen it. I've never, ever seen it. And this is another thing I was telling you, that's a dead giveaway. If you see reprints, they'll have perfect lines. Yeah. Well, these don't have perfect lines. There's printing defects. There's misses. Yeah. There's things like that. And it's tactile. I mean, we feel the impression in it.
Yeah, you can feel the dent.
Yeah. But if it's perfect, it's not original because there's imperfections.
Was it really thick ink?
No, it was wood
Well,
press.
it was stick ink plus a handheld press and things like that. You know?
Oh, so they're
And
indentions.
a lot of people that try and copy these actually doing more modern stuff. And if you do a modern one, it's just smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell an original because it's not smooth. And then yeah. Nan boo boo, nan boo boo.
Yeah, nice binding.
What is that? Oh, wow.
St. Nicholas, the 1882, 1883.
So what's St. Nicholas? Is that another punch type thing?
No, it was actually a children's magazine.
Oh, okay.
There's one of my rare book dealers. So, no, it was more of a straight up magazine aimed at children that had like stories and textilios, but, and it was a lot of stuff like this. You know, it come with it's picture stories, picture pages. That's where the whole picture pages things come from. But of course, this has the first 2 appearances of the Brownies in it. So, 864.
What year is that, Kyle?
1882 into 1883.
Okay.
Because they came out in February of 1882. There were some stuff in the Wide Awake magazines.
Hi there, promiscuous time traveler.
Hey, Kyle.
Mary Mapes Dodge. Yeah, nice. And is that what's the printing technique used on that, Kyle? Is that
It's illustrated magazine for young folks. And then
what are you going for?
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
volume 10, St. Nicholas, November of 1882 to May of 1883. And let me grab this up right here. The Brownies Right, 263.
And was that a bound volume of the individual issues?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the 6-month bound volume of the issues. Because again, it's the only way you're going to find it.
Yeah.
You're not going to find these loose. This is more than a ghost. I mean, this is their first appearance.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
And again, these are the first major comic book characters. And there'd be like there's actually the art takes up more room than the text does. See where
like that
coming? Instead of just being mostly text in one picture, the art starts to overtake it. And you can see the formation. You can actually walk down the formation of comics and comic book stories. And
sure,
you know, if you read stories about what influenced the creators of old, well, if you go back far enough, it stops here at Palmer, Cox, and the Brownies for Pogo and for Bone. And, you know, Bone is a direct result of this. Yeah. Pogo is a direct result of this. The Peanuts are a direct result of this. The Little Rascals are a direct result of this. And then Britain's answer was, you know, your soapy dude. But yeah, this is heavy. This thing right here would probably cost $100+ just to ship by itself.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, Mark, is come over to the States and
wow.
Yeah. Because again, that's a full magazine. That's not an 8-pager. That's like a 64-page magazine.
Wow.
And then I'll show my Christmas presents again. Some of my Christmas presents again, since we're
love him back.
Huge Himbeck omnibus.
I grew up on him, and he's a friend of mine on Facebook.
Yeah, and then
really nice guy, by the way.
My coffee table book, my Ron Goulart coffee table.
Oh, Ron.
Nice.
Rest in peace, Ron.
All right.
He died last
I got to
year.
stop talking for a little while and take a cough drop. So shrink me for a minute.
Okay.
Sorry, the author of that died last year, did he?
Yes. He also did Starhawks with Gil Kane.
Okay.
He wrote it and Gil Kane drew it in the 70s. It was comics answer to Star Wars.
Okay.
And it was very popular. It was very well drawn. And then they came out with a Star Wars comic series that was inked or drawn by Al Williamson.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Was that called Starhawks?
Yes.
I think you've shown some Starhawks, haven't you, Gray?
Gray?
Starhawks?
Yeah, I'm sure you've shown something called Starhawks. So. No? Okay, maybe not.
Don't believe it did.
But it ran, God, I can't even remember how long it ran. It ran at least 5 years, but it was very well drawn, very a very good storyline. Ron Goulart, like the guy who wrote that book, wrote it and wrote great characters.
Yeah, interesting. I'll look that one out.
So
whereabouts in the world are you, Bill? Are you
I am in San Antonio, Texas, home of the Alamo.
Okay. Oh,
yeah. Where are you in England?
Near London. So I'm in a place called, well, it's North Essex. So it's near Stansted Airport, if you've ever flown.
Oh, wow.
Flown
I've heard of Essex. Not North Essex, but Essex.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the counties just north of London. So it's only about an hour into London.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do for a trade?
I'm retired. So
what did you do?
What did I do? I was a supply chain professional. So I was in manufacturing. So I made I made pet food.
Wow.
I made paper. I made I made cosmetics for quite a long period of time.
Wow.
And then I did I made perfumes. And then finally, I ended up being an internet book seller.
Wow, that's great.
So,
and you still sell comics, I guess, on the internet, huh?
Yeah, I've just started.
Wow.
So I've been a collector for many years, but my wife's told me I've got too many comics. So,
hey, Bill, there's your British connection. There's your. I'm gonna plug you straight into a British connection. I'm gonna
start buying from you.
So
yeah,
because I've been looking desperately for British comics.
Oh, okay. Well,
so, you know what I really want is 21st century comics.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I can never find those here.
No, you won't.
Hey, no. Mark, I'm gonna vow real quick. Friends and family discount. Bill's a good guy here. You really want to get with him.
I don't have any of those, but I know I'm absolutely sure I can get some at quite a low price.
Oh, that's great.
Give Bill good deals because Bill's good.
And I get good stuff over here too. So if you need anything, I can find it for you.
So have you showed your book off yet, Bill? Come on.
No, I haven't found it. I have to keep going back and forth. I keep waiting for you to come back so then I can go out.
Well, there you go. I think I'm done running around now.
I do want to show this. I got this not too long ago.
Complete EC checklist.
Oh, no,
yeah.
These first of all revised. I know
from I believe 72.
Right.
I believe. What was
Get
that
me off
for?
the fucking big screen, man. Put Bill up there.
Oh.
Come on,
guys. Nobody going slow. Just bear with
nobody wants to do
baby.
Gurfy durf. There we go.
There it is.
I'm drinking that 4 times.
Bill, Bill, I know somebody who'd absolutely love that. That's great. I mean, have you ever met Alan, the comic collector geek?
No.
No, he's got virtually every EC comic ever printed.
Oh my god!
Either American edition, Japanese edition, Spanish edition, French edition.
Alan?
He has got Alan. Yeah, he's got the most comprehensive EC collection anywhere.
That's amazing.
And he's got the entire Warren run plus the Vampirella toy and all that stuff.
Holy crap.
The whole shebang, yeah. That's where he started his collecting, and he's got literally everything.
Yeah, I'm surprised his name isn't Jonathan Ross.
Well,
he's been
joke there.
Been in with it. Hey, old people.
The
Jonathan Ross owns everything.
Well, he was also a toy collector, isn't he, Jonathan?
I know. What a fabulous guy. He's so nice. I mean, he texts me all the time. He's just a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's
just a hell of a guy. And I really like chatting with him because he knows everything. I was really surprised.
Oh, he froze.
He's frozen again. Yeah, Jonathan Ross has been a long-term collector of. He's about my age. I think he's about the same age as me.
I'm just a few years younger than you. So,
so what's the only thing you have, Graham? What's the other thing you have, or did you just freeze again?
I couldn't hear him.
I don't know. Every time I try and talk, someone else talks. So I'm not sure it's because I've got something. So it's kind of like confusing. Anyway. No, I can't hear you. I don't know about it.
All right. Well, the only connection you have is what? It cut off. We're all being quiet for you. Oh, he's going to relog back on. He's having issues there.
Yeah, he's got he did a video. He did a YouTube video with some toy collectors about a month ago.
Yeah,
that's great.
And he took them around his sort of man cave. Well, I call man cave
his office.
Isn't it amazing? See, I'm a big Micronauts fan myself, and that's his big toy dig. Yeah. And I can't get over what he has.
It's just he spent, I don't know, it was an hour-long video. I don't collect toys, but I found it fascinating. He just
amazing.
Because he was, it's his passion for them. He was going, oh, well, I got all these manga things and this Japanese thing. And these two toy collectors who knew their stuff, they were going, oh, look at that. You've got one of those. And Jonathan Ross was going, well, what is it? And they went, it's one of those. And he said, oh, I've already wondered what it was.
Right. He doesn't know half the stuff he has. Which I would love to be in that position, wouldn't you? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. All right. So, Graham, what was the connection you have?
He used to be my neighbor.
Did he? Okay. Was he a good neighbor?
Hello, old people.
Yeah, I never spoke to him. Because I was a few years younger than him. But his mum used to live on the corner of my house to the opposite corner. His mum used to live there, and we used to talk to her all the time. We knew that she was Jonathan Ross's mum, but I never actually met Jonathan Ross. But I was probably like a little tiny kid when he was,
Yeah, that's true.
About 9 years older than me or so.
You're a bit of a youngster. Yeah.
Bill, who put C-Book? It's not Overstreet. Is it Forey?
What's that?
Did Forrest put out that EC book? Who put out that EC book?
The Charlton book?
The EC book you just showed.
I'll tell you, it was Fred Van Bernowitz and Joe Usinic.
Oh.
As I spit out my gum.
Nice.
It was self-published.
Nice.
Oh, is it a fan publication?
Yeah.
Basically.
There are stories that come out of that EC stuff of guys like Forrest Ackerman when they were teenagers and they'd get the artist to come to their house, like in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible stories of these kids. So, Nauman, this is my man Bill, the world-class comic book historian himself. Bill, that's Nauman.
Hi, Nauman.
Good to meet you.
How's it going?
Bill's the guy you want to know.
Last name Culture? Or Clature? Nomenclature? I'm kidding. Sorry.
Nomenclature.
nomenclature.
No, that's a good joke, right?
Well, that was better
Well,
than some of Kyle's dirty jokes, anyway.
Yeah, that's a preferable.
and he's dead.
I mean, I don't mind Kyle's dirty joke if it was funny.
Yeah.
Hey,
For
Nauman,
that matter.
Nauman, look what I got in my pocket. Look here, Nauman. I got this in my pocket. You ready? You ready? I got that in my pocket. That was in my pocket, you old goofball.
Happy New Year, Kyle.
Happy New Year, Nauman. Bill, go find your book because I want to make the book. Bill wrote a book with Neil
I
Adams.
just went to
Now we're
give
going
me
to
a
show
dollar
us
bill.
some dollar coins.
Yeah, I just got. It's actually
Right,
20
on the big screen.
for $15. 20 for $15. Oh, I got some new books too, by the way. I got some new books. I want to try this one out.
That's a new one, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it, what's his name? King? I forgot his name.
Stephen King.
He's retelling the first issue. He's sort of redoing the first issue special from DC back in 70s. So that's why I had to get him. He's going to do the Lady Cop. I can fold the original, so I got me a
reprint.
meal.
They're doing a lot.
I don't
of
want to talk about the fact that I did used to own one of those originals.
But then this one I just couldn't leave it on the stand by itself. She looked lonely.
Gun honey, yeah.
Yeah, she won't be lonely for long, Nauman. She's not that type of girl.
Nauman getting cheeky.
So here's $1. You guys know how to collect warlords, so I'm trying to fill my run here.
I was looking at one of my boxes last in Oldroyd Universe. I can't remember who it was now, though. I think it might be Justice League Task Force. Does anyone remember what comic it was I showed?
You know, these warlord books probably do wonders for the cover slingers.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Those Justice League Task Force from yesterday, Graham?
There was one comic I showed me. It went in the Warlord universe. I can't remember if it was Justice League Task Force.
It did, yes, you're right. Yeah, there was one that said, yeah, it was the Justice League Task Force in the Warlord universe. And I said, what the hell are they doing there?
Huh. I never seen that.
There it is. Yeah, in the world of Warlord.
Stranded in the Warlord.
What year is that?
Warlord. So that might be one to add to your list. 96.
Cool. Very cool. United States in Warlord universe.
You must have most of them by now.
Flying saucer, some monsters. Yeah, these would be
You're gonna pull a bill, and instead of Conan, you're gonna have show. Oh, it's a monster, but it's not.
Your challenge, Norman, is to be able to do an entire cover slingers just using Warlord.
Yeah, just using warlords. Like, hey, you're gonna have a samurai soul man or whatever. Shogun warriors or whatever. That spider. Now this is a Punisher World Journal.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm collecting these up to 20, issue 20. And because I'm a Nam man, I had to get this.
Wah, wah.
No, man.
You're the Nam man.
Yeah, he's the Nam man. Sorry, had to go into tax man there, folks. And not a very good version either. Love that one. Oh, beautiful. Mike
Huge
Grove
legend
cover?
there.
No.
I don't think that's after my.
No, it is
That's
after.
my career.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's okay. I like Legion.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, for less than $1, not bad. Predator from Dark Horse.
I like
Dream
that.
Girl's got a headache.
So my I hand it back to Bill. He wanted to show something.
Oh yeah, Bill wrote a book with Neil Adams.
Wow, Willie.
And Neil drew the
Make
cover,
him
by the
bigger,
way.
Greyman.
What's that?
Make
He's
Bill
working
bigger.
on it.
Do that. Hey, Is
So
this your book?
what's it called? Comic Book Historians presents Neil Adams.
Can you make Bill bigger,
I've tried
Greyman?
it over 3 times. It's not going.
Not illustrator.
Trying. It's just my computer's so slow.
Who's Alex Grand?
Alex runs the comic historian group. He's written quite a few books recently on comics. He's doing a huge, almost like a volume 3 of the set of books
Stranko.
that Stranko did in the early 70s.
Oh, I've just got those.
Yeah, and they're beautiful.
They are beautiful. Yes.
I mean, honestly, Stranko's completely off his nut now, but he was once a genius.
Okay.
He's still a genius.
I think
He still cranks out artwork at 84. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
Stranko, you say Stranko, right?
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah, this is the first published work of Stranko in here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've
Well,
never seen that
actually,
before.
what he did was he designed the hand.
Yeah, he designed the hand.
Joe Simon thought his art stunk and wouldn't let him draw anything but the hand.
He did the first splash page though. So on this one, his first published work. Yeah,
Nice.
And then he went to Marvel, and the rest is history.
and then of course I had to get this one for Stranko.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
That's really nice. What number is that?
One.
One.
Nick Fury Shield one, #1.
Like that.
But how many of you guys have a signed Norgal the Magician poster? I do.
So
But
The magician?
Norgal, an old pulp magician.
Norgo.
Norgo?
Norgal, Norgil.
Never heard of him.
Norgio.
Norgil.
All right. So, Bill, tell us about that book in your writing.
Well, let me show you this,
Oh,
if I can. If you can see it.
Can you make him big,
who's the
Gray?
Wonder Woman in the background?
His wife, right?
That's Alex's
Oh,
wife.
no, that's the cosplayer. That's the
That's Alex's wife.
Mm.
Wow,
That my co-writer who's there on the right.
wow.
Oh, is
And
that you
that's
in the
me
middle?
when I had long hair in the middle. And
that
there's
looks like
Neil.
you. Yeah, that looks like you.
And
How
I
long
have
ago
to
you
tell
did
something
that?
funny. And I
How long
don't
ago
think
you
I
did
told you
that?
guys this last time. We were interviewing Neil, and what happened was he would talk about Green Lantern, Green Arrow. And it was funny. Every time he'd talk about Green Arrow, he'd look at me, and you saw how I looked at the time. Every time he talked about Green Lantern, he'd look at Alex, who's an eye surgeon and looks very conservative. And it after the interview, Alex goes, "Did you know?" And I go, "Yep, I sure did." And so from there on, I said, Neil Adams thinks I'm Green Arrow. So there, bragging rights. You know?
Did you have the blonde green arrow?
Yeah, the only benefit from that is if you can find a black canary.
Yeah. Oh, my wife. She's my black canary.
Okay.
She's brown actually, but we'll call her Black Canary.
As long as she's got the stockings.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's the must.
So, talk about your book, Bill. Tell us about your experience writing a book.
Well,
Is that
so we had an in-depth interview with Neil in 2018, And it went really well. It ran about total about an hour and a half, and he was happy that someone was doing a historical retrospective on him, and he was happy that people cared. The interview is also on YouTube, by the way.
Oh, is that okay?
And if you just go Neil Adams and Bill Field, you'll find it.
Okay.
You know what?
But it was a lot of fun. Neil was very respectful. He had a bit of an ego. I know that's shocking, not, but he was just really engaging, and Arlen Schumer, who worked for him for years, got pissed off at Alex and I for writing a book. If anyone should write a book, it should be me. And then he befriended me and stuff. It was kind of weird, but he and Neil had a very weird relationship. The last time they met, he said, "Arlen, do you see that chair over there?" And he goes, "That's like 100 feet away." He goes, "You go sit over there and I'll stay here." So it was that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But you got to love the humor there. But
sounds like a bit like Kal-El.
Yeah. But, Neil got in the business basically in the late 50s, early 60s. And he, of course, did the Dr. Kildare strip, which was super popular for a number of years. And in many ways, he took the Alex Raymond model a step further.
I was going to say,
of course, is always what's that?
I was going to say, it always reminds me a bit of Alex Raymond.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Except Neil used more photo reference. And that's why his stuff looked more like video, almost like photorealistic.
Bill, how do I search for that again?
What's that?
How did I search for that again?
On YouTube under Neil Adams.
Neil Adams and
Bill Field.
Field?
Yep. Did you find it?
I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah. It was my only my only work with Neil. I wish I'd been his inker. He'd inked me or something, but
yeah, it was my only work with Neil. Huh? Gee, my only work with Neil. Oh, poor you. He got sick, but I only worked with him once. That's like me saying, yeah, I got writing credit above Alan Moore, even though it was listed alphabetically. But I am in a publication with Alan Moore, so I don't downplay that one bit. I don't downplay that one bit. I am in a writing publication with Alan Moore.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
I have had a song I wrote produced by Quincy Jones. I don't downplay that one bit. Even if Quincy barely did anything, I don't care. Here's a little bit. I'll take it. So
I think you've all heard the song. It's "Won't You Take Me to Funky Town?" Right. That was a bad joke.
So, Bill, are you a historian generally, or are you just a comic historian?
Okay, I'm an animation and comic historian.
Okay.
I had a major panel last year in San Diego on Osamu Tezuka. And basically the father of manga and anime as we know it. They were earlier versions of it, but he made it what it is today. I'm a cartoonist and animator by trade. That's what I do to make money. And of course, because of that, I like both art forms, comics and animation. And I got in with a bunch of people at San Diego called the Comic Studies Group, and many of them have their PhDs in comicology. And
You
so
can do a PhD in comicology, can you?
yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's taken seriously now, and I appreciate that. For the first few years, I laughed about it, and then I thought, no, we need this. I mean, as a body of comic lovers and collectors, and artists and writers, we really need this to be elevated. So I've seen more people laugh about it, and then once they think about it, it's like, well, of course, it has to be a study program.
Well, it's been part of culture for 150 years. So
Exactly.
Can we play some of this?
That's it.
Can we play some of it?
Sure, go right ahead.
We need sound.
Well, back in the yes. What else? Can you tell us about this? Can you tell us what you did when you started writing and drawing comics?
Would you like me to scratch your nuts? The Fly, his first published bit.
Did you check the box for share sound, Nolan? Did you check the box for share sound as well?
Oh, share the sound?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think there might be a tick box you have to do before you.
I had a bad hair day that day.
Let me start it over, okay?
Hey, Bill, at least you have hair days. I haven't had a hair day since I have bad chest hair days. That's about it.
It's funny. Okay.
How old was he when
I saw yourself, Kyle.
He was.
Yeah.
I want to say he was probably 78.
Yeah, he looks pretty good for his age, to be honest.
Yeah, he stopped dyeing his hair after this, but yeah,
Jack Kirby's fan, they paid me for a third of a page. I think about $12.50.
Can you
So
hear
you
it?
did get paid for that panel then?
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Those guys at Arch.
So then, and after that, you assisted Howard Nostrand for, was it Bat Masterson? Was that the strip?
Masterson, based on the television series. Yeah.
How was working with Howard Nostrand?
Howard Nostrand used to work for a studio called Alexander Chait Studios, which was an advertising agency, studio. And they had people like Bob Peake and a lot of other people there. And then they sort of discovered, which you can't actually say, but that whether or not the people who ran the agency were taking maybe a little bit more money than they should. Anyway, the artists kind of blew up and they all left all at the same time. And Chait Studios just went bye-bye. And all the artists split up. And the question was, where are they going to go? So 4 guys went to an apartment on, I think, 50th Street and rented this apartment and set up studio there. They would be partners. So one of them was Howard Nostrand, one of them was Elmer Wexler, and then there were 2 retouch guys.
What's that?
Photo retouch.
What
What was great about that was I got to go into a studio with
Pause for a
2
second.
retouch guys. Elmer.
I just want to say this. You can tell by just what he said in the last 2 minutes how much he knows about the industry.
Yeah, a lot.
And how much he appreciated it before he even went into it. And you gotta love a guy like that, ego and all. Really. And only by understanding what's come before can you exceed it in the future. And I bet all of y'all will agree with me. Neil is one of the best comic artists of all time.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you.
He
Well, he's top 10, I'd say.
Well, he was recently ranked number 4.
Yeah.
And Ditko was 6.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby was number 1.
Yeah.
Shocker. Steranko was in the top 10. At number 18 was Bill Sienkiewicz.
Jim Starlin rank any higher?
What's that?
Jim Starlin.
Jim Starlin is right above Sienkiewicz, I think, in that it was a British 101 list, 101 best comic artist list. And I'll have to look it up and send you guys a link. But it was a little surprising, some of it, but
I'd have had
Sienkiewicz was flanked by Reed Crandall and Jack Cole.
Let me know what was the interesting point. I mean, I'm sure it's all interesting.
Keep going. Yeah, that's a good spot. Yeah, that's a good spot.
Hawk was a warmonger and Dove was a peacenik. Green Arrow, for example, was not a peacenik. He was actually a radical liberal that also believed in nonviolence. And
did you see how he just looked at me when he started talking about
nonviolence, but through authority?
And Green
it's
Arrow.
Difference. I mean, yeah, it's very. I mean, I lived through the Hawk and Dove time, and it was a very, very different time.
So now, fast forward to the early 70s, and Batman is taking a darker turn right after the Batman TV series. You actually grew Batman up quite a bit because he had been taken down a peg or two to juvenile camp kind of standards, and you brought it up and made it more cinematic and probably fostered the way in for movies, don't you think?
No.
Oh well.
And television
Good analysis
was a satire. It was never intended to be anything but a satire. It was a comedy. We watched it to laugh.
I don't think he understood what I was saying, actually.
And it was great. I had a great deal of fun. I mean, it's sort of like going to Saturday Night Live and doing superheroes, you know. It was a comedy. And anybody who might have thought for 1 minute that it was Batman and Robin and not a satire of Batman and Robin was out of their minds. And that they thought that may be the case at DC Comics was an indication of how deluded they were by the success of the television show. They should have done a Batman and Robin satire book and then a regular Batman and Robin book, but they didn't. They kind of drifted Batman toward the television show. So now you have a guy in his underwear walking around in the daytime and nobody's pointing at him saying, "Mommy, that kid's wearing his long underwear." It was a stupid idea. So this character that I grew up with that was drawn by Jerry Robinson and all these other guys was not in the books anymore. So I asked, look, can I do Batman and Robin? And Julie Schwartz said, no, get the hell out of my office. And so I presented my case in enough ways that Julie actually went and changed the way they were doing Batman and Robin relative to the licensing and everything else, so that it opened it up for me to do some Batman stories, which were successful because I worked with Denny O'Neil, because I was drawing more realistic Batman, because the Batman I was drawing had real muscles. He had a cape that flowed rather than look like a log out behind him.
Cool.
And basically and people say, Neil, you changed Batman. I didn't change Batman. I brought him back to what he was.
Oh, that's true.
Wow.
Everybody wanted to see. And that's what everybody loved about Batman. Yes, they loved the satire. You got to give credit to the satire. It's funny as hell in so many ways. You know, even Cesar Romero playing the Joker, but refusing to shave his mustache is almost hysterically funny. It's sort of like the latest Justice League movie where what's his name gets his face pasted over and because he refuses to take off the mustache. What the hell is wrong with you, buddy?
That is a funny parallel, and you're totally right. And only in DC does this stuff happen.
Oh wow!
So now when
they added a scene at the beginning where they have
I had a hard time with my microphone hand.
If you want to hide it, take out that scene. You know, don't say anything.
I thought it was weird that they used Christopher Reeve's face. No, I'm just joking.
No.
When you were doing Dead Man in the late 60s, and Steranko was doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you guys, I think, exploded the illustration potential of comic books. It seemed like it was somewhat subdued before you guys. Did you guys feed off each other? Did you guys vibe off each other at all?
No, and the joke is that there's some kind of an implication that Jim Steranko and I are alike, or we somehow made the same kind of impact. I was an illustrator who could draw comic books. I had a syndicated strip. He was a magician who loved Jack Kirby, and he was trying to idealize Jack Kirby and what he did.
They hated each other, by the way.
He never presents himself as an artist,
as you can tell,
as an entertainer. And he does graphics, and he does these, comes up with ideas and piles the ideas in and adds that Jack Kirby, sensibility. You'll never see him focus on anatomy.
There's Jim's name and the flame.
His direction, it's almost like he's a different type of creature. He's a chimp, and I'm a baboon. We're different. But at the same time, we weren't afraid to do the thing that we wanted to do. And the door was open to go ahead and do it. So it wasn't just us. I mean, there was Barry Smith. There was Bernie Wrightson. There was other people doing it. Somehow we were allied together. I don't know how, and I think it's funny. I think Jim probably thinks it's funny. Has no idea why it happened.
Isn't that great?
But it happens. You can't argue with fans.
We asked the right question.
They're fans.
Thank God.
They are the controller.
That was
Let's go into the 70s, and you've made a huge impact on fans, on superhero fans at this point. And in 75, you and Jerry Robinson had some roles in getting Siegel and Schuster credit and attention. Tell us more about that. And it's a very long story.
It wasn't me and Jerry Robinson. Jerry Robinson came in at the end, and he helped me with the Cartoonist Society. It was a long, drawn-out battle. It was about 3.5 months of battling with DC Comics. But again, it's a long story. And if you start the story, you sort of have to give the details, and then the details become long and involved, and conversations on the phone and screaming and yelling and all the rest of that. It was a big fight. But it's sort of like it's as if you're talking to a boxer and you're talking about a match. I can talk about the match. You may then question, well, where did you get the stamina to have the fight? And I'm made for that. I'm made for that kind of a fight. I don't.
That's true.
You couldn't find a better person.
Look at that hair.
Because I'm a calm person. I don't get riled. I don't get upset, and I don't.
He was very nice to us. I'm
not the type of person that loses. If you get into a fight with me, pretty much it's going to go to the end, and you're going to die. And that's just the way it's going to be. And I would not wish it on anybody else. I would not say, too bad you couldn't do that. Well, no, it's not too bad, because you'll get high blood pressure. You'll get all bloody and stuff, but not me.
You'll get all bloody
to me, because I don't fade that way. So I'm the right person.
Now, your boxing analogy gives me the perfect segue to 1978 and
this is my favorite part.
Muhammad Ali versus Superman, and a lot of people thought, "What the hell?" And then they looked at the artwork, and honestly, to me, it's some of your best work.
Well, I think there are people who think that's the best comic book ever done.
And it was a shocker to me. I couldn't wait to buy it, but it just blew me away. And I was a fan of yours up to that point, but I became a real super fan after that. And some of the things you did with water, some of the things you did with shadow is just never been equaled.
You have to remember that, first of all, we lived in a bigoted country in those days. Second of all,
still do, by the way.
We were fighting people in Asia that we shouldn't be fighting, and we were killing people. Third, we had a guy who was a world champion boxer who refused to go there and refused to fight. He didn't believe in it, and there was no reason he should believe in it. So we lived in a country where this kind of stuff was going on. Lots of politics was going on. But if you had any understanding of the world, you knew that Ali was a champion of the world, even though he wasn't a champion in America. So Julie Schwartz, who is your good old-fashioned New York liberal Jew, is going to be the first one to step up and say, hey, we're going to do this. So it was his idea. It was his idea, and he gave it to us to do. And I ended up writing most of it. I, in the end,
for the record, Neil was also
all the way to the end.
New York liberal Jew.
And drew it. And I did it all the time.
You want now?
I mean,
you want now?
Neil was also a New York liberal Jew. He wasn't just calling Julie out. He was saying that because he is too.
It was one as well, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say that so you don't think he's a racist or trying to call him out. He's also Jewish.
No, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
This.
Look at that artwork.
Huh?
I mean, seriously, the artwork. I mean, it was totally photo reference, but look at that Ali. Is that not beautiful?
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know if you guys have seen that comic anytime recently, but I looked at it even like a month ago, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Ah, Naman, you're on cue today, buddy. Wow.
It's missing a cover, but
I've never owned it. Probably won't ever get around to buying it. You never know. One day, maybe.
So we don't have to watch any more of it, but I do love that you pulled it up because it was like one of my crowning achievements as a historian, I think, and I don't know if I'll ever surpass it. You know, I mean, I will write more books, but that, I mean, and our book came out 6 months before Neil died.
Huh?
Our book came out 6 months before Neil died.
Oh, really?
So we don't look like ambulance chasers or anything.
Your book on sale on eBay or something?
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon?
Yeah.
I've been looking for that book.
Yeah, please do.
And did Neil like it? Did he make any comments? Did he approve
Well,
it?
he made us add like 20 pages of artwork.
Okay.
Which was great.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably sold the book more than the text did. But yeah. No, he was great. And he did the artwork for it. His daughter colored it. So it was a real family affair. And it was, again, he couldn't have been nicer to us. And been so nice to indulge us. And then when we came back and said we wanted to do a book, he said, yeah, I'll do that. And believe it or not, we're one of the first people, if not the first people, to write a book on his, whole career.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good interview because you got him talking honestly. He wasn't just giving you rote answers. He was telling you what he thought, which is always.
And now you know that Stranko's a chimp and he's a baboon.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm not sure what Steranko would say to that, but anyway.
Oh, he'd say it's bullshit.
Yeah,
they hated each other. Jim probably doesn't hate him as much now that he's dead, but
All right, make me big because now I'm going to do my Nana Boo Boo show off here.
Dun, 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 dun.
Even though I have traded away my rarest Neil Adams autograph to Mark there, but
what?
Oh,
is that autographed? Oh,
there it is.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then just to give you a size perspective of how big this poster is, that's the comic. This is how big this poster is. Norgal the Magician. Limited to 250, signed by Steranko and Maxwell.
Wow.
What year?
1978, I do believe. 77. Mysterious Press, 1977.
That's beautiful.
And if I had better light, that's numbered to 250.
So was that a comic? I've never heard of it.
This stuff goes back. Norgal goes back to the pulps. Norgal goes back to the old Shadow.
Right. Okay.
He's a contemporary to the Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go, Mark. There's an insanely rare piece. Which again, good luck finding one.
I won't find one of those.
I've only seen one in the wild, and now it's in my hands.
No. If you're
Hey,
find
Mark, I have to tell you something funny. When Neil told us all that stuff about Steranko, Steranko was right across the aisle.
Really?
Yeah. He overheard some of it. I mean, it was so ridiculous. And I would look over and see Jim, and he'd be like, his head would be kind of cocked to the side while he talked to someone so you could hear Neil, rail about him.
That's so funny.
It was
this at the San Diego Comic Con?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 2018.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Do you get to San Diego Are you in San Diego the Wednesday prior to everything, or
Always.
do you Thursday? So you're there on Wednesday.
Always.
All right. So you're gonna be on with us that Wednesday.
Yeah, you bet I will.
All right.
We can
Because
do a walk
we'll see
around
what we
even.
can scrounge up there. We can see who we can get on from San Diego.
We can do a walk around.
So
It's preview night.
So yeah, we'll
you guys do this before. Okay, no, that won't work. But yeah.
But we can have you on beforehand and talk about it. We can do stuff later through the week. And
I'd love that. Yeah, that'd be great.
With you, so
yeah, I'd love to do that, guys. This is a lot of fun to me.
Bill, it was awesome meeting you. Thanks, guys, for setting this up for me.
Yeah, you bailing out, Norman?
We just set it up for you, Norman.
Yeah, I know. You guys did it just for me. I know. So appreciate you.
Just so you could show off your Muhammad Ali.
Go.
Thank you, Norman.
All right. See you later, Norman.
Bye, Norman.
Bye.
But yeah, we can try and coordinate schedules and stuff like that. Because I'd imagine
we got 7 months.
Yeah, I'd imagine between here and there we can cross over some other things too. So, because people always wonder why I'm so connected in the community. Well, there's one of the reasons right there. So, why I can call these people and why I talk to everybody.
Are you part of the comic book historians group, Kyle?
Who, me?
Bill started. Bill was one of the starters. Yeah, that
Alex
because
and
of
I and Jim Thompson, but mainly Alex and Jim. But mainly Alex actually. Jim really came along for the ride, but
because of Bill's group, I used to write like blurbs. Like I'd put history and things when I'd post comic pictures and things like that, and I'd tell stories with it. And an editor from Liverpool had seen those and went, "Shit, dude, do you want to write for me?" So in 2017, I started writing for Fanzine out of Liverpool and London. So because of Bill, I became a writer. Because of Bill, I shared page space with Alan Moore.
There you go.
So quite literally, I mean, again, I got header listing over him because my last name's Andrews and it was alphabetical.
I'm such an instigator, you know. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing.
There you go. You set up Kyle with Alan Moore.
That's right. Kyle, you and Alan are, publication buddies.
I'm an honorary Jew. I'm an honorary Scouser. I'm an honorary a lot of things because of that group. Literally. I mean, quite literally. So I was taken into a Jewish community and they're like, "Man, you belong here." So my best friend
That's
now,
awesome.
Jewish guy from Montreal, and they made me an honorary Scouser up there in Liverpool, and then it was kind of funny
because they probably liked all your jokes, Kyle.
Yeah, well, and again, I don't make dirty jokes, and I don't make jokes in the magazines I write for. But when I first got plugged into Graham about a year ago, he was a little stunned because I was so plugged into the London collecting community, and these guys knew me by name, and it's like, well, that's because I've been part of the London comic community since 2017.
6 years. That's a lot.
Yeah, they reeled me in off a step I did there, and I was on there for a couple of years. Hell, I've been chummy with Bill for 8 to 10 years now, and so I always want to interview him. And now that I got him on the show, I'm like, yay! And then I knew
to come on anytime you guys want me.
And then I knew when you was running clips, I could run around the house because it's like I played that video so much. If it was on videotape, it would have snapped by now. I've probably watched that video interview 150 times.
What do you guys think of it? Do you think it's good? I love it. I think it's one of the best things we did.
Sounds right. Well, I can hear of it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to go away and watch that. I'll go away and watch that this week.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah. I'd like to know your feedback. And yours too, Gray.
Well, I like what I saw of it. I mean, it was really. I liked Neil sort of describing himself as a fighter. Don't get in the ring with me because I won't get high blood pressure and you will.
I'll kill you, is what he said.
I'll kill you.
And he was pushing 80 there, and he still had the fight
Can
in
you
him.
imagine what he was like in his 40s? I mean, he would have
Oh
been.
my God!
He would have been formidable. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have wanted to cross him, would you?
He slapped somebody, and I can't remember who it was. He might have slapped
Bob Kane. He slapped Bob Kane. He walked right up to Bob Kane and slapped him in the mouth.
Yeah,
in front of 100 people. I mean, it's not even folklore. He walked in a room full of people, walked right up and smacked Bob Kane in the mouth.
God, I wish we had photos of that. I'd have a poster blown up in my studio.
Yeah, I mean that's how Neil got his real reputation, was walking up and smacking Kane, because he was kind of the undercurrent fighting for Siegel and Schuster and stuff like that.
And Bob Finger.
Yeah,
Bill Finger. Bill Finger. How can I forget a fellow Bill?
And Kane ran his mouth, and the next time he saw him, he walked across the room and smacked him right in the mouth. Bitch slapped him. He literally bitch slapped him.
He did.
And made a joke about it.
He did.
He's like, that's what you deserve, and walked away from him. Unapologetic about it, and it grew in folklore because Kane wanted to deny it, but too many people saw it. And I don't like him.
Well, these days he would have been able to deny it because about 15 people would have filmed it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Arlen Schumer and
Steranko then? Was it Steranko, Neil, and whoever it was he having beef with? What was the origin of that?
What's that about Steranko?
It's asking why Neil and Steranko didn't get on.
I think it's because they both became big sensations at the same time, and it's like they were the new guys. They were the new wave, and at the same exact time. And Steranko, he's full of it, and so is Neil, and so they clashed. I mean, I think it's natural.
Yeah. Steranko and Neil were like a professional clash of opinions and things like that. The Kane thing was pure personal. He's like, you thieving prick, and just walked right up to him. Because I'm sorry, that's exactly what I would have done to Bob Kane when I found out the backstory of Bill Finger and how they jacked people over. There were guys like Sheldon Mayer who pushed Siegel and Schuster to the forefront even from the beginning. But Kane wanted to take it away from him because Kane got his cheese dick deal on his name and then rode everybody's coattails like he was Thomas Edison. It's finally all really starting to come out when people quit caring. But, I wish Montreal Johnny was on here because he's got Bob Kane signatures and things like that. And he grew up on a Batman and he loves him, but he also understands that so much of the Batman mythos is other people.
Well, Athena Finger's a very close friend of mine, and her grandfather was Bill.
Yeah.
And she just started I don't even know what she got or what, but she has started. She still works, so it's not that much money. But Bill started getting credit, thank God. And so his name appeared in Gotham and everything after that. Yeah. And thank God, right? I mean, seriously. It's about damn time.
That's where I got that Shelley Moldoff autographed Batman was from Montreal Johnny, because he understood that Bill Finger did the most of the writing and Shelley Moldoff did most of the art.
Oh, yeah.
Almost
Shelley was amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Shelley was amazing. And I'm still kicking myself. I had a chance for $100 to get a 40-page storyboard that Shelley did as a pilot for a TV series. And I forgot to go back and buy it. And I've never seen the dealer again. And it still kills me to this day. Yeah, that was just 5 years ago. So
Mark's wanting my Shelley Moldoff autographed, remarked head sketch, and I'm guessing he's wanting my Steranko poster now, and I'm guessing he's
now he is. Yeah, look at that face, man. Look at that face.
And a boo-boo. I told you I can let go of some amazing stuff, and I still got a library full of it. So. Yeah. Well, Graham,
I'm going to log off, and I'll see you next week. Good to talk.
Yeah,
I've bought the Charlton book, and I'll be watching your video and looking for your book as well. So great to meet you.
Thank you, Mark. Very nice to meet you, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers. Is he on Facebook?
Yeah, I'll send you the link to his.
Yeah,
too.
and for Naman too. Gray and I are friends now.
There you go. I don't know if Naman has a Facebook presence, but
he's on Instagram.
Oh well, I'm not hardly ever on Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't get Instagram for some reason. I don't understand it.
I'm on there, but I don't do much on there really.
Yeah.
Look at other people's posts. That's about it, really, and send the odd message to people.
so. And actually, an easy way to do that, Bill, is just go into my Facebook, and
that's what I was thinking.
As soon as my friends list comes up, Mark should be right there in the top 5. But if he's not, you know, you can pull him up in my friends list. Just
sure.
type in Mark, and he'll pop right up there.
I will do.
And I'll have you a liaison there through the UK.
Great. That's what I need.
Hey, I made it 2 hours in one piece. I didn't think I'd be able to do this.
That's awesome.
I feel like such shit right now. My wife is so mad at me. She's like, "You really going on live?" She was yelling at me last night, like, "You will sleep. You will take this medicine. You will sleep." I said, "I got a show with guests tomorrow." "You will not." I said, "Yes, I will." She's like, "Reschedule." I said, "No, I'm not going to reschedule." I had to reschedule Scott because I didn't want to say it in the thread to get it blocked. But Greg, Scott got C19, buddy.
COVID?
Scott and his wife got COVID.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
He's going to be knocked out for a little bit. He's like, "I don't know if I'll be feeling better by next week." And I said, "Just put it on hold as long as you need, buddy." Because, you know, he come down with it hard, and I'm hoping to get through this because he's got some health issues going on. So.
That's right. Respiratory sort of problem, didn't he? He keeps talking about he had to get rid of his moldy looks.
He's already got respiratory problems. This could end him. This could literally end him, and I hope it doesn't. So I'm keeping in touch with him. But again, I mean, this year, my objective was to get a guest on every single week. You know, we got 3 guys wanting to come back, and then you had Bill, and you know, everybody's willing to come back, and then
I'll be here anytime you want me, man.
Yeah, I'd send Bill an invite every week. Might as well if he's free, and it's up to him.
Well, thank you. I'd be more than happy to join you guys on a regular basis.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
You know,
great way to start 2023.
You could be a good panelist when we get these guys on, like when you and Rappy were talking.
Exactly, yeah. He'll have some inside knowledge, like for when we get anyone on, he'll have some good questions to ask, sure.
That's great.
And again, I mean, I'm not going to hesitate, Bill. I'll pull a few strings. You know, if you're talking to Sienkiewicz, get him to come on with us one day.
I probably can. Bill, I know I could probably get Howard on easily.
Yeah, you like Howard Chaykin, don't you, Graham?
Probably. I've seen his work, but I mean, don't ask me to remember what he's done. Is he the one who did the Scorpion?
Yeah.
Dominic Fortune. Was that him?
Yeah. That's Howie. Howie will come on here. So anybody watching, just keep that in mind. So
no.
He does.
Walt Simonson would be like that if he had time. Tom Warzakowski, if he's got the time.
Warzakowski will do it for sure.
Yeah, with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
They're happy to have him.
I don't know that's the last name you said. I can't even say that last name. You said Warzakowski.
Tom Warzakowski. His name is in more comic books than anybody's. Quite literally. He's Chris Claremont's go-to letterer. He's Todd McFarlane's go-to letterer. Nobody's lettered Spawn but Tom. Nobody lettered Claremont after like 1977.
John Byrne used him a lot too.
Yeah. I mean, Tom is an insight into the industry.
What a nice guy.
The longest name as well, not only in the most comic books, but the longest name in comic books.
And then his partner is Louise Buhalis, who again goes back in the industry. She was one of the original women back there with Flo Steinberg and Mary Severin and all that. They just have.
She's awesome.
You know, it's a household of cool.
It is.
And they just love to talk about stuff. If I can get a hold of him, I need to get a hold of Mike Netzer.
Well, we interviewed Tom for like almost 3 hours for Comic Historians. And it's out there somewhere, probably on a podcast, you know.
Yeah.
But what a nice guy. just really great to be around, great to talk to for a few hours. And we could have talked to him for another 3. Another guy who's really good who might come on is Rick Marshall. Do you know Rick Marshall?
Even I'm at a loss for this one. Why am I drawing a blank on Rick Marshall?
Okay, Rick is probably the preeminent comic strip authorian in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's edited like a lot of Popeye books, a lot of you name it, he's probably edited it. And the first thing he did in the 70s was the World Encyclopedia of Comics with Maurice Horn.
All right. Well, there you go.
So he'd be great to be on too.
Well, just let me know. Get in touch with him. You know what time it runs. You know, you're only an hour behind me, so East Coast time. You know, it's an hour.
I think he's on your time. So yeah, I'll be happy to talk to these people and get them on. That'd be awesome.
I know Mark's going to regret dipping out again here when he's hearing these names being dropped, but Mark will have fun talking to him. And to me, I mean, most of them are just a phone call away, or how do you do, Bill, or how do you do somebody, and you know, how can I link in with them? And then once I do, can we work out the schedule? You know, like when we got Tom Mandrake
now.
Yeah. When
Which
I got
love.
Mandrake, Tom just finished teaching at the Kubert School, came right home and jumped right online with us. So
who did?
Tom Mandrake.
Oh wow.
So,
that's great. I didn't know he taught at the Kubert School.
Yeah.
He's great.
Told the story of
isn't he married to Jan Dursema?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, what a talented household, and their kids are in the field too. So
wow. That's amazing.
Okay. You gotta shrink me and have me quit talking so much.
Yeah, why is your full screen for? I believe.
The triple. I have to get back in the camera now. So let's ask this in the last few minutes we have here. What are your goals for this year? Like when it comes to comics?
I have to manage my expectations and work with mine. I to be honest, I'm not working, so I don't really have any goals. If I get the old comic here and there, that'll be fine. That's my goals for this year.
That's not a bad goal.
Yeah.
but you also have a goal to put this out for a year, and that's great. I mean, seriously, this is. I mean, people might be looking back at this 100 years from now, you know, and going, "What the," you know. But and you, Kyle?
I just figure I'll get whatever comics I get, fill in whatever roles I fill in. My main objective is just getting guests.
Yeah.
You know, I figure getting weekly guests, getting names on here, expanding this a little bit. You know, guys, because I'm trying to link the London Loves Comic groups to the Comic Book Historians group people, because they just kind of drifted apart. But get that interlaced where it is global, because it can connect them.
Yeah.
In a three-dimensional way, you know. So I could pull my strings over in England and get guys on from there. And the connections I have in England now, I have U.S. connections because Liam Sharp's an expat here now, and I'm going to get Liam Sharp on the show when his schedule lets him. Neil Gaiman, I'm in the queue with Neil Gaiman. I'm going to get asked him. I mean, his reps have told me, you know, you're in line when he gets to you. He's going to answer your question and talk to you. And I'm going to be like, well, if you talk to me now, will you talk to me on Wednesday at this time, your time? And my goal is to get Neil Gaiman on here, and Mick Jones.
Smooth.
Mick Jones from The Clash is an old comic book nerd. He's more or less committed to doing this. I just got to hammer out because their time. What time is it there, Gray? Like 11 o'clock at night now.
It was 10.
10
That's
at night.
not bad.
So, you know, if I'm going to have him on from like 8 to 10 his time, I got to juggle that, and then I pull guys like Spidey in Australia. You know, but it's too early there. But I'm having fun doing this. But you know,
It's a blast.
I don't even want to get new books. I just want to trade out what I got and get different stuff. I know.
I don't buy hardly any new books. I mean, I'll buy compilations. I'll buy like the Charlton book, but I like the old stuff. I don't like the new stuff.
I only buy old stuff.
It just doesn't hit me.
No.
Mark's gonna want to do another $10,000 trade with me, but he's gonna have to come get him because if he wants what I got that I was showing today, he's gonna have to haul it over here.
That's funny.
I mean, our last trade, my shipping would have been $600 if I'd have mailed it straight away, and it was a box.
That's because your postal service is rubbish. They make up numbers they pluck them out of the air, don't they? It's
yeah,
like,
it was real rubbish.
Try and charge you for it's ridiculous.
Oh no,
Mark
gone to
still
shit
made
in
out
the last 10 years.
Mark still made out like a bandit because a lot of comics Mark traded me he got for a quid. And I was trading
Back in the day.
No, like literally, he'd get these auctions and win these things. So, hey, Paolo.
Jesus. That's crazy. Hey, Paolo.
I mean, I make good deals too on my stuff, but I got my giant size X-Men 1. I'm not a condition whore. I didn't care. It's 2.5. I got it. It's in the racks. I could trade it tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned. I've had it. It's gone through my collection. I can just move it on.
I bought it off the racks. I don't have it anymore, but I bought it off the racks.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I mean, when I turned 12, I bought Avengers 1, X-Men 1, and X-Men 2 for $35.
Man.
Yeah. Amazing.
I wish I started collecting older comics sooner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, up between like when I started collecting properly when I first got a job till when I stopped collecting 2013. All I really collected was like what came out that month, more or less. I bought a few older ones like here and there, but I wish I'd like when I come back in 2018 is when I started buying old comic books, trying to fill in the old runs that I'd liked as a kid kind of thing. And that was really the wrong time to be doing it. If I'd started doing, buying older comic books a lot earlier, I would have got better freaking prices for them,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Never mind.
No.
Life.
I mean, I'm sure we all have misgivings about the stupid stuff we sold.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. But,
Yeah, exactly. I kind of we should go back in time and do my life again, but with the knowledge that I've got.
With the knowledge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's going to be big. I'll buy 5 of them. That's going to be huge. I'll get 10 of them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You okay, Kyle?
I'm in agony.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I can't breathe. My throat hurts. I'm just.
You got smoky, man. You got cold. You got to lay off the fags for a bit. I mean, I know it's your bloody body and your lungs, but as a non-smoker, when people are sick and they're smoking, it annoys the crap out of me. It's like, stop fucking smoking. You go rest for 5 minutes.
It doesn't help, but at least for the next couple days, even though I got stuff coming in the mail from people, I may hold off doing a live for a few days when I get it. I always want to pop stuff right open, but honestly, I think I need to wait and spend the next few days just not talking.
I think that's a good idea.
Rest up, man. Get your strength back.
And thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciated it.
Thanks for coming. We'll call it a night there because it's.
And I'll see y'all next week.
All right. Yeah, cool.
I'll shoot you the link, Bill.
Thanks, fellas.
I added you to the Facebook group. We've got like a Geeky Weekly Facebook message. Yeah, so I just put you on that as well.
Terrific.
Yeah,
thank you, fellas. Paulo, thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Peace, fellas.
See you soon.
next week.
Bye.